Good morning, good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Me First Morning. I am your host, Patricia Barrow Wolfson. I'm an intuitive coach and an energy healer, a wife and mom to 3 boys. It is as crazy as you think it is. And my mission is to teach you how to, number one, calibrate your energy. Number two, how to integrate self-care into easy and doable steps. And number three, how to embrace and own your own natural gifts to achieve a life you love. So good, so juicy, so exciting. And today we are talking about healing. We talk about healing all the time in the personal development industry. My mouth has not woken up yet. We talk about it in the spiritual community. We talk a lot about healing. I've heard a lot about healing my whole life, and which is fantastic. I love working on my healing and self-reflection and self-awareness. But there does come a point where, it's like, okay, like when does the healing begin? How do I make the healing happen? What is it that I can do to get through or over these things, right? And there's such a focus on trying to fix yourself or change or evolve. And I talk about it a lot here too, but I really want to point out that the healing is in the action. And that's what we're going to talk about. So, when we have patterns that keep happening over and over again, the healing is in making a different choice. When you are in fear or in lack, the healing happens when you step forward and you do it anyway, or you somehow manage to embrace where you're at and not feel the lack, but choose to focus instead on the abundance. So, we're going to talk a little bit about that a little bit more later. Let's get started with our healing activities. Um, Good morning, Dad. Morning, Mom. Good morning. I know everybody's like, this is where I get to see my parents, everyone. They come here to see me, and this is where we meet every morning. So, which is great. I love it. Mm. Okay, I'm having my coffee. And um, anyway, my brain is a little scattered today because my Blueberry, who you guys have probably seen if you've been watching Me First Mornings, he actually had to have emergency surgery yesterday or 2 days ago. Anyway, he's been in the hospital. He had something that's called disc disease. And anyway, it was like suddenly onset, and we had to take him to the hospital, and so he had back surgery. Basically, this poor little beautiful puppy. So I just got a call from the surgeon before I came on here. So if I'm just a little flustered, everything's okay. We're bringing him home today, so I'm really excited. So, Mom, Dad, Blueberry's coming home today, yay! And we got like discharge instructions. But it's crazy, right? Like when what? Hold on. Hello? No, it's this way. I do that all the time, guys. Whatever. Anyway, it's crazy when, things kind of happen out of the blue and you're not expecting them. It's like you're living in a parallel universe where it's like you get this, devastating news, which is what it felt like to us when, they told us that basically if we had not operated on Blueberry at the time, that he could potentially become paralyzed. And it was really, really terrible. Apparently, it's something that does happen with French bulldogs. For those of you who don't know, he's a French bulldog, and they are susceptible to this disease. It's a longer name, but basically the doctor said it was like disc disease, and where it's their disc like pushes on their spine. And it just kind of was this sudden onset. He started not walking right, and then by the end of the night he couldn't really use his legs that well, and by the next morning he wasn't using his back legs at all. So I took him to like 3 different vets. I mean, that's a whole story, but anyway, he's going to be okay. We are anticipating a full recovery. And I am very, very grateful for that. And I pass along the information to you that please, if you have a pet, get yourself some insurance. It's That's all I have to say. Okay, so let's get settled, and you guys are going to help me get into my body, into the right place, so that I can ground myself. And I would like us to do this together, so you can ground yourself too. And we are going to just start our little ritual. So get your candles, everyone. If you have, we're going to light them. Welcome anyone who's watching. I see. Feel free to say hi. Oh, and don't forget, if you want to follow me on all the social medias, I'm here on Facebook. I'm on Instagram at Patricia Rivera Wolfson at Soul Seekers TV, and I'm on TikTok. I just started a TikTok channel thing. So Calibrate Your Energy. So follow me on TikTok. And of course, please subscribe to my YouTube page, Jumpstart for Change, and ding that notification bell, so that you can get notified when I'm live, which of course is every Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Okay, so good morning, Anna. Thank you. Thank you so much for your well wishes. I think Blueberry's going to be okay. He just has a really, really long recovery. So I'll be treating him like a little baby and carrying him to do his business. And he's going to be staying in his crate for most of the time. This candle is not cooperating with me today. I don't like that. Hold on. Let's see if I can. The wick is like leaning into the wax. So it's having some issues. Let's try again. Aren't we all having issues these days? Come on. All right, here we go. Let's try again. I have lit the candle for the third time. Third time's a charm, right? Okay. Essential oils. All right, so get your oils. Let's do, if you have them, if you'd like them, don't feel obligated. Dudes, this candle is not working for me. Oh, I need that. I need that so badly. I need that, like, it's like that. It's not a letdown, but it's like this release. When I smell the essential oils, this one in particular, like I said, which is sacred frankincense, which is just a scent that resonates with me. So I don't want you thinking you have to get this scent. It connects with me. It makes me feel really relaxed and connected. Find yourself an oil. Or a scent. Doesn't have to be an oil. It can also be a flower essence. I said I've used a lot of flower essences. I have one that's a spray, and I'll just spray it before, like throughout the day. That's always nice too. It's just the scent that will kind of trigger in your body that feeling, that relaxation feeling. Okay. So I have to use a different candle because I think maybe this candle is just worn out. So we're gonna do again because I really like to have a candle during this. So I think I might have to retire Rihanna's candle and use Linda's candle. So people know I like candles. So sometimes you forget you're awesome. This is your reminder. So this is a candle that Linda bought for me for my birthday. Isn't it awesome? My bestie Linda. All right. So here we go. We've lit the candles. See, guys, I need this routine as much as you do. Or I don't know if you need it, but I need it, and that's why I created it. All right. So let's take our 3 deep breaths. If you want some crystals, feel free to pick up the crystals that resonate with you. I like my clear quartz, or just put your hands on your lap. You can put them facing down or facing up or in a mudra, however you feel connected to your body, connected to this experience. Okay. So like I said, I'm going to grab the clear quartz because they're amplifying. And we're going to take 3 deep breaths. And as you inhale, I want you to imagine sort of this top of your head opening up and just receiving all of that healing, beautiful light that comes from the heavens. And I want you to also imagine that your legs are kind of soaking up like straws, that healing life force energy from the earth. So we're literally just calling in the energy from the heavens, calling in the energy from the earth, allowing it to blend in our body and just go through all the parts of our body, permeating our cells, cleansing and clearing any stuck, stagnant, or dense energy. So when you release your breath, you are also releasing any of those toxins and that stuck energy, anything that needs to be let go. I want you to intend that it is released with the exhale. Okay. And we're going to do that 3 times. And 3 really good intentional breaths is all you need to get your system kind of at this beautiful grounded level, or this, if you don't like the word grounded, in a centered place, really, so that you can feel connected. Okay. So here we go. 3 deep breaths. and hold and release. Another deep breath in and hold and release. And for this final breath, I want you to really imagine everything expanding, as much expansion as you can to receive as much of that beautiful healing light, that life force energy throughout your body, as much of it as you can. I want you to just inhale it, okay? Because we need that to move forward with our day. So let's do that now. Last one. And hold and release. Okay, good job. Now let's do some stretching. Okay, so just as we said, as I say every day, in the same way that you need to release any of that stuck and stagnant energy on the inside, we also need to involve our body and release any tension that we have in our body. And you guys know I have a lot of tension in my shoulders because I've said so, not that you know personally. So I do a lot of this motion, right? That it just kind of stretches it out. Oh, and do what feels good. One of the best yoga classes that I went to, which was at Kripalu when I went with my other bestie, Marissa, I had the best yoga classes there, as can be expected, I suppose, because it's a whole yoga place. Um, but the best yoga teacher that I had, what she said really resonated with me, which is like, you have to find what your body needs by tuning in and listening to it, especially with the stretches, right? So even if you're in yoga and they're telling you to do one thing, if you really want to, if you feel the need to stretch deeper or to release because it's too hard for you to do, or you can't, stretch quite in that way, then you need to listen to your body, and it's building a relationship with your body. And that's what part of this is about. Ugh. Okay, now let's shake it out. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Ah, my lighting changed. And now it looks blue again, guys. So frustrating. Okay. I think it's like when I put my hand in front of the camera, like it changes the light. And it's like a white balance for those of you who know television. And I can't seem to make many changes to adjust it. Maybe that worked a little bit. Okay. All right, so now we're going to say a prayer. So, but before we say a prayer, I want you to take a moment and think about your intention. What intention would you like to set for the day? How do you want to feel? What is it you want to bring into your day today? Even if it's something like that, you're having a really rough day and you want to feel peace, or you want to feel trust, or you want to, maybe you want to surrender. Maybe you want to learn to surrender. That's something that when we had the whole experience with Blueberry 2 days ago, I had to surrender to the experience, right? I couldn't help him. He was not walking, and there was nothing I could do to help him other than to take him to the hospital and to trust that I was, getting him the best care that he could get. And, it took a lot, as I'm sure if you've been through stuff with loved ones or pets or anything like that, where you've been in a situation where you feel helpless, right? And when you are in a situation where you feel helpless, that is an invitation to surrender, and also an invitation to call in support, right? If you're like, I have no control over this, take a moment and ask for support, ask for God, ask your angels, ask your spirit guides, ask them to come in and guide you and support you and show you the way. And that's what I did. And I really feel like he went to the exact right place at the exact right time. My intuition was screaming at me that he needed to go to the hospital. And I was correct, and normally I just kind of let things go. I'm like, things will work themselves out. But I really felt the urgency, maybe from him, maybe looking at his eyes. But we all know, we all have that instinct that when we need to act, we know we need to act. So follow that instinct. And that is building that relationship. Okay, so now hopefully you have some sort of intention you want to set for the day. So now let's say our prayer. Feel free to say your own prayer that is connected to your own spiritual or religious affiliation, or you can just follow along with me or sit quietly. Thank you. Divine Mother, Infinite Father, Creator, Ascended Masters, Archangels, Spirit Guides, Ancestors, and all beings of 100% pure white light, allow me to be a clear and open channel of your light and love without hesitation or ego. May the highest vibration of infinite consciousness connect with my higher self and release any and all things that no longer serve me. I ask that Saint Germain and his infinitely powerful violet flame burn away the things that no longer serve myself or humanity and hold us back from our divine existence. Help us to embody our intentions for the day and help us raise the collective vibration for the highest and greatest good of all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So be it, and so it is. All right. Okay, so now it's time to pull a card. Let's see what the guides have to say to us today. And I have to tell you that as I've been pulling the cards for us, for the collective, every once in a while I've had a card like jump out, and I instinctively or intuitively I know when the cards are for me. And so I've pulled a couple of cards have flown out, and I'm like, oh, that's for me. I'll look at it later. And I gotta tell you, those cards have been bang on with what I need to hear or the support that I need. I really love to use cards, and I recommend them as a tool for anybody who kind of wants to start a dialogue, right? If you want to start a dialogue with spirit, cards are a great way to do that because it becomes like a really good conversation once you kind of figure out what your language is, right? And, picking a deck that you're connected to. I have this one that I use all the time for the show, but I have like, I don't know, 15 decks or something. The Enchanted app is this one that I'm using. And it was actually a gift from a friend of mine named Yola. And she gave me this deck, and from the moment I started using it, it was exactly what I needed. And I always feel like that, your guides are looking out for you and sending you what you need. So there's also this whole thing about like you're not supposed to buy your first deck, or you're not supposed to buy tarot decks or oracle decks. I think that's garbage. Buy your own stuff. Feel free to get whatever you need to get, whatever resonates with you. And it's also okay to get a deck from somebody else. It's all okay, right? It's all okay. This is the whole thing, is that everything works. All right, so let's pull a card, and then we're going to talk about how healing is in the action, right? Healing is in the action because it is, in making choices that are different than what we have made before, where we gain confidence and clarity. And confidence and clarity is part of that healing process. It's part of that evolution process. You can look at the things that have happened to you your whole life, and you can choose to look at them from a place of despair, from a place of looking at it from the experience, which could, depending on the experience, it can be very traumatic. It can be very upsetting. It can be very many things. And it can easily justify, why, or explain why you have made certain decisions in your life, or why you keep having the same patterns in your life, or why you keep having the same relationships in your life. You can look back, and probably at some sort of childhood experience, trauma or not, where you learned, how that the way you made a certain decision affected the outcome in some way, and you internalized that information, and that became part of how you viewed the world through that lens, through that filter, the filter of, when I do this, this is what happens, right? So it could even be like, growing up with siblings, and you had a sibling that was always like, you're an idiot. So you grew up saying like, maybe I'm an idiot, right? Now that's not true. But when it becomes sort of coded into your system, right? Like it's, emotions or feelings that get trapped in your body, right? And they become part of your makeup. They become part of your programming. It's hard to release that programming because you've believed it for so long. Maybe you've believed it for 20, 30 years, right? So you don't just eliminate a belief like that. But what you can do is take steps to prove that belief wrong. But that has to be active steps. That has to be taking action that shows that you're not stupid, right? And writing down the evidence that you're not stupid, right? So when something happens and you figure something out, Very often someone who thinks, oh, I'm just stupid, they'll always point out the times that they do something wrong, but never point out the times that they do something right. And that's where your focus needs to go, especially if you are having thoughts or limiting beliefs that are, that's the story that you're telling yourself, that you're stupid, that you don't belong, that you're not meant to make money, that you're not meant to succeed. Any of those stories, anything that is a story or anything that is a statement that is like, if this, then that, in terms of what's preventing you from getting the life that you want, that you have to undo that. But you can only undo that by taking action that counters that thought, right? So you have to actively prove that thought wrong. And that's where the healing is, right? It's like, I can't do this. How do you heal that? You do it. And you show yourself you can do it. And that's really, I'm saying this like it's so easy. It is harder than it sounds, depending upon the wound, right? Depending upon what action is necessary, depending upon where you are in your healing process, because there's layers and layers and layers of this. But this is why, I wanted to talk about this today, because so often we hear, from the spiritual community, you have to look, and I talk about it like you have to witness your sadness, you have to witness your feelings, you have to witness and hold space for all of your experiences, and all of that is true, right? But you can witness all that, and you can hold space for it, and you can go to therapy, and you can, get the support that you need. But you're not going to actually see any real changes until your behavior changes, until your actions are different. Because then once you take different action, then you get different results. And once you get different results, you can start recording them, making note of them, keeping track of them, and that becomes your evidence log, right? That becomes like, you have to become your own detective, right? So when you think of something that's going not your way, or when you find yourself having a limiting belief, oh, hi, Linda. I was just talking about you earlier. When you find that you're having your own, like whatever that limiting belief is, or something that's preventing you, or something you realize might be a block to succeeding, right? Or then you have to like put on your little detective cap and be like, okay, now I'm going to be a detective, and I'm going to investigate this belief. And when I investigate this belief, I'm going to take a look at whether or not this belief is actually true every single time, or if there are times when this belief is not true. And I'm also going to look for evidence that opposes this belief or disproves this belief, especially if it's something that you want to move past. Now, let me tell you, if you find yourself over and over again looking for the evidence that proves that limiting belief, then you're not ready to let it go. And I'm not going to tell you that that's wrong. I'm just telling you that until you're ready to let it go, until you're ready to take action that disproves that belief, then you will consistently have evidence of that belief. The vibration of that belief will continue, right? The frequency of that belief will remain in your energetic field because you're not releasing it. You're not allowing it to be different. You are consistently reminding yourself of the evidence that it is true, unless you prove otherwise. So it really is a very active experience, healing, because you have to take the action to disprove the thoughts. Okay, let me pull a card. Look at this card. I like this card. Number 21, Field of Dreams. Now, especially considering what we're talking about right now, I really love this card. First of all, I love the number 21. 21 because in numerology, 2 plus 1 is 3, and 3 is one of my favorite numbers. And apparently it's how many viewers I have right now. Okay, so Field of Dreams, and we're talking about taking action, right? So when we are healing and when we are taking action that is moving things forward, then we open up to our field of dreams, right? Because there are so many possibilities that we have access to, but we close the door to the possibilities when we believe our limitations, when we believe these blocks, right? When we sometimes we put them there, right? We're like building a wall, right? Here's the field of dreams, right? And then someone says, look, go run in the field of dreams. Go have a beautiful day. And you're like, nope, sorry. And you grab a brick and you stick it and you're like, I don't get to enjoy myself, right? People like me can't enjoy ourselves. And you put that, that brick in front of the field, right? This blue light is killing me. Oh, it's my grandma. Okay. And then it's like every limiting belief that you have that gives you evidence that you cannot have what you want is another brick you put in front of you. And it's like a wall that you build. I'm not smart enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not lucky. I don't finish things. Right? This is me building the wall. Okay. So sound effects. All right. I'm not special enough. I don't have a silver spoon in my mouth. I don't have the system in place to succeed. Right? And let me tell you, sorry, this lighting is driving me nuts. Okay. I'm not trying to tell you that those obstacles don't exist. I would never say that those obstacles don't exist because they do. There is such a thing as privilege. There is such a thing as, the structure of society not being built for humanity to succeed. Okay. There are so many systems in place for us to fail. I'm not trying to take any of that away or to sit here and bypass, that reality. Okay. What I'm saying is that there is a lot that we add to the limitations because of the systems that are in place, which are trying to prove that we can't succeed. And we individually have the power to disprove that and to say, no, you think it's this way, but I don't. And you take the bricks out and you say, okay, this doesn't belong here. I am smart enough. Boom. Right? And how do you prove it? You do something that makes you feel smart, right? You show yourself that, wow, you know what? I didn't think I could figure this out before, but I did. I am smart. Toss that belief out. But it's not just going to be one thing. Because unfortunately, we've spent, 15, 20, 30, 50 years telling ourselves that we can't, or we won't, or we shouldn't, or that's not how things are, or that's just the way it is, right? Whatever bullshit we tell ourselves. We have, so it's not like one thing that happens where you accomplish one thing that you wanted to and suddenly you're like, wow, well, that's gone. My limiting belief is gone. I don't believe it anymore. I did it once. No, you have to do it over and over and over again. It's a practice with each obstacle that you face where you would have gone in this direction because your limiting beliefs tell you this is the only way. You got to switch it up and go the other way. Take a different action. Make a different choice. Look at it from a different perspective. If you don't change anything, everything stays the same. But if you change one thing, even if it's a small thing, everything can be different because then it's a different chain of events. If you make one different choice, you shift things in just enough of a way that you're not going to get the same result. You can get a completely different result. You can get the result you want, or you can get a little closer to what you want. But I really want to encourage you to keep a log, I have something that I used to talk to my clients about, which was called the success bank, and you can call it whatever you want, the evidence log, the success bank, and I called it the success bank because I was like, you have to have something where you deposit in, right? So it's like you write down the things that you've succeeded in. I have my kids do this. When something happens that they didn't think could happen, I have them write it down in their journal. And it's like a log of evidence of whatever you thought couldn't happen did happen. And so when you're feeling doubt and when you're feeling like you can't accomplish something, or when you're feeling a little lost and afraid and unsupported, you go to your evidence log or you go to your success bank and you withdraw something from the bank and you look at it and go, oh, you know what? I didn't think this could happen, but it did happen. So that's a good reminder that I can accomplish things. I can do things differently. You have to really look at it from the perspective of wanting to shift the narrative. If you don't want to shift the narrative because the narrative is working for you, then keep things the way they are. I'm not going to judge you. You have to live your life in a way that feels good. But if you are not happy with the way things are going, if you don't feel good about your life, if you don't feel good about how things are looking in your life or around you, then this is what you can do to start to shift things in the direction that feels better. Make little changes. It doesn't have to be big changes. You don't have to like have a makeover and, quit your job and change everything. Although if that's what you're inspired to do, I highly recommend it, right? If that's what you're ready to do and spirit is calling you to do that, then listen. But it doesn't have to be this big transformation that happens. Every big transformation starts with tiny little steps. And most importantly, it starts with one little action in the direction that you want to go. And then each action begets more action, and that begets more action, and that causes momentum. And so, as you start to take action and feel more confident and feel clearer and get more evidence that you can succeed, you pick up that momentum where you start to feel good and you start to feel energized and you start to feel motivated and you start to make changes, other changes you didn't think you could make because now you have clarity and confidence. So, I really encourage you, make tiny, tiny, tiny little actions that move you in the direction that you want to go. And I promise you, you're going to start to see things shifting. Oh, hi, Isabel. I love you. I think it's your birthday today. Is it? If it's your birthday, happy birthday. I love you. Oh, hi, my love. Okay, so that is my advice for today. That is what I recommend you do. It is a little action that can be a big action that can turn into a whole series of actions that will take you to exactly where you want to go. So please take a small action today that is going exactly where you want to go and let me know. Let me know what that action is. Let me know how you are changing and shifting your patterns of thought, your limiting beliefs. Tell me the little things that you're doing that are different today than you did yesterday and celebrate them and write them down in your evidence log. I promise you, you're going to start to see results. Okay, so I'm here every Monday through Friday. Tomorrow is Fun Friday, so I'm pulling cards for y'all. Woo, woo. So please show up if you'd like me to pull a card for you. I will stay on a little bit longer tomorrow if I have a lot of people. And that's it, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Don't forget to subscribe to Jumpstart for Change on YouTube. And don't forget to download your free GPS workbook if you haven't already, and that will help you find your own GPS coordinates that you can plug in every single day so that you can start moving in the direction that feels good to you. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate you all. I love you. Thank you. See you tomorrow. Bye.